Thank you so much, Minister DG, DM, the officials from the department, advisors to the Minister. Thank you so much. I will respond to three questions. The acting CEO is here. He'll come and add some more detail to the questions. The first question I'll respond to is the defunding of students. And then I'll respond to the one on ghost students. And the last one on cyber attacks. Now, if you go back to the first quarter of this year, you'll remember there were statements to the effect that we spent 5.2 billion rands on undeserving students. It was big news at that time. And no emphasis was made that actually referred to a period of 2016 to about 2021. Now, defunding students is basically correcting the mistakes of those students who were funded incorrectly. And that's why we don't use the term defunded students. We talk about ineligible students. What we have done, as the minister indicated in his statement, is even if we defund students based on the fact that they are ineligible, the key criteria there being the threshold of 350,000, we do give them an opportunity to appeal. We're the only institution in the world that allows its clients to appeal and appeal. So the funding of students has got to do with students who are ineligible. Now, this will happen for several reasons. Key among those reasons is the fact that sometimes they provide us with information that is not correct. Now, as soon as we discover that, we make action immediately. If we don't do that, we will have to respond to the auditors, and we'll be acting against our own policies. In cases where students come back to us and supply us with information to the contrary, we do correct the situation. So defunding ineligible students is a matter of good governance. It's a matter of observing the law. If we don't do that, there are consequences to ourselves. I must mention that. Ghost students, and there are many such allegations. There were similar allegations at the Value University of Technology. There were similar allegations at Fordham. In one of our meetings with the Hawks, they did mention that they are investigating cases of ghost students in other universities. This, for us, talks to the principle of accountability. This is one of the reasons why we adopted the policy of direct payment, so that we're able to account to the students that we're funding. We don't have to go through a university go through another service provider, and service provider number 4 services the ultimate beneficiary. We want to be sure who is it that we're funding. This gives us some suspicion that in cases where some students or some targeted students who are supposed to onboard do not onboard, we're asking ourselves whether this may not be the ghost students that we've been funding over the years and we're not aware they are. We're keen for increased accountability and for the verification of students that are supposed to be on our books. Now, on cyber attacks, the minister has addressed this. This is the first directive that the minister gave us in a meeting with him recently, that we need to ensure that our IT system responds to the challenges that we're having, that it is safe, and that it is in line with accepted standards to service our main client base, who are the students. Now, there were cases where there were cyber attacks. The recent cases had to do with the service providers, the direct payment service partners. But the IT subcommittee, chaired ably by Mr. Zondo, has also discovered a number of weaknesses in our IT system. Other people who are not supposed to access it, accessing it. We take action in such cases. In this case, we took 2 actions. The first one was to report this to the law enforcement agencies. The other action that we took was to procure expertise to assist us to ensure that our IT system is much more safer. I just want to respond to another question. I know it was, I can't remember if it was directed to the minister, on the eviction of students because of the indiscretions and the inefficiencies of NSFAS. We have dealt with a couple of such complaints. In most instances, we found that such are not NSFAS students. Now, there's a story I've had which would maybe bear relevance to this, about a new wife who used to complain so much about an ex-wife in the presence of children. She will complain about Lizzie that, Lizzie this. And one day, electricity went off in the house, and the 4-year child went to the mother and said, "Mommy, Lizzie has stolen electricity." So it's not in all cases that those students who complain are actually our students. In cases where they are funded by ourselves, we react as quickly as possible, and we do correct the situation. That talks to our interventions, our policies on student accommodation, where we want greater accountability to ourselves, where we want to ensure that we get landlords that account to us, that we can talk to, that meet certain criteria, so that we don't just get to hear about evictions taking place that has got nothing to do with ourselves. Thank you.